Hey guys, I wanted to do it's going to be a quick one because usually I ramble on and I apologize for that. Got my hair did. Gonna do this. Make sure you guys can see. Um, Thoroughly enjoyed the hour it took the guy to do it. He actually he used to work with me at my plant, so a nice guy. But we're going to talk about MBTI, which is Myers Briggs. You're going to be like, why? This is so boring. For you, maybe. What it did for me, though, is I'm an INFJ. We're like for males, we're 0.3% of the population. So if you're sitting there saying, I really like how this guy talks, I really like his energy, I like how he does things, I like how he thinks, that's because that's my personality type. And I used to think I was weird as shit. Everything I do is very weird. Everything has to be done a specific way. I fold my clothes a very specific way. When you look in where I have all my clothes done, it's perfect. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. It sounds weird, but it's very simple because I have this motion and it just happens and everything gets put away and it's just where it needs to be. I can walk in with my eyes closed and grab the shirts I need or grab the pants or etc. It's just easy. It makes life easy. I don't have to think about it. It's very structured. Which is why military guys and I get along very well. Because even the guy that cut my hair today said, so what branch of the service were you in again? And I'm like, I wasn't. I said, my dad was Army. Because I'm not going to say, my ex-husband was a Marine. My ex-boyfriend before him was Army. My ex-boyfriend before him was Army. My ex-boyfriend before him was Navy. It's just who I am. So anyway, so as I'm going through, and I had to do this test for when I worked at Allison Transmissions. I took it, and it came out it told me I was an extrovert, and I only realized I was an introvert after I watched a number of videos about ENFJs. And I said, God, this doesn't feel right. And I found one on INFJs, and I watched it, and I'm like, everything. Every quirk that I find annoying about me was listed as an asset. So then I started thinking, wait a minute, am I looking at this all backwards? Are the things that annoy me about me actually good things? Like I will sit and talk to somebody, and as we're talking, I'm listening to how their pattern of their words. Everybody has a pattern. And I listen and listen and listen, and I go, wait a minute. This is what you're thinking. I can actually end people's sentences. I do that a lot. My boss is from Mexico, and she has a very thick Spanish or Mexican accent. And when she gets stuck on a word, I can go and answer and put it in there for her. Or when other people are talking, that's an easy thing for me to do, is to know what should be the next word based off of my understanding of you as a person. There's a lot of really interesting things that I can do because I just pay insanely amounts of attention to people. I pay insane amounts of attention to people. It also means that I can't memorize stuff because my brain just doesn't work that way. I look for patterns. I can't memorize. Numbers float around in my head. If you hand me something to memorize and say, okay, here are 3 lines that I need you to know by tomorrow, I'd be like, good luck. Will not stick. All the words will scramble. It's just really weird. But what it has taught me is, when I start getting what I like to call the turbulence, which is when what you're saying, and so while we're talking, I'm also projecting in the future, saying, okay, this is what you're saying. What will this be like in 3 months? And if what you're saying and what I'm pulling out of my brain as a future tense doesn't match, the turbulence kicks in. And it basically means I understand something's wrong. The patterns are incorrect. So then I try to figure out how to make the pattern correct. Not based off of what I want, but based off of what you're saying and doing. And what my understanding of how other people that have acted like this do. And at some point I stop and I go, okay, this is too much. This is telling me right now you're going to be gone. The turbulence has kicked in. I start asking questions. I start probing. And then you melt down. Because you're like, why is this like this? Well, it's like this because I understand what's happening. And my brain is telling me you're not going to work. The guy that I went on a date with 2 weeks ago, as I'm listening to him, and he started talking, and one of the things he talked about, sorry, I have with myself. One of the things he was talking about was me and how I project myself onto my social media. And he's like, a lot of guys would not take it kindly that you brag about all your followers. And I'm like, I'm not bragging about my followers. I'm saying, I have a really big community of people that listen to me. Big difference. I have a bunch of people that I talk to and that talk to me. And I talk to as many of you guys as I can, but unfortunately, limited time, and I actually have a career. So I have to balance. So when he started talking and he was making it sound like I was doing something wrong by pushing to try to get my Twitter, my Instagram, and my YouTube going and synchronizing and trying to do something nice for people. And the turbulence didn't kick in, but it stood up and said, no. We're not going to put you through a whole bunch of crap, but no. Answer straight out is no. And the rest of me went, yeah, I got it. I don't need to go through the turbulence on this one. We're good. Turbulence has helped me in the past, but in this case, not so much. I was just perfectly fine saying no. Other weird things about INFJ and me. I'm not going to think of any off the top of my head. Everything I do is weird. I like to, oh my God, I am such a dork. I'll walk up to people and the first thing I do is say something utterly stupid. And not really stupid, but I'll drop the F-bomb or something and make everybody laugh. They all just laugh at me. I'll walk up and say, so what ridiculousness are you guys up to today? I've actually told somebody, this is weird. I actually walked up to somebody and said, I need you to stop being so stupid. And she stopped and looked at me. It was a team lead. I said, you're very intelligent. I know you're not stupid, but you make really stupid decisions. And I need to understand why you do that. She goes, yeah, you're right. That was a stupid decision. I'm like, you're a smart lady. What's going on with this? And then she walked me through what her thought process was. And I'm like, yeah, next time get a hold of me. I mean, I can resolve some of this for you. And I can go over to plant 2 and I can see if this would work. And I just was going through all this stuff and I'm like, but don't take, this is going to be loud. We're having a thunderstorm. No, maybe it's not going to hit. Okay, sorry. No, seriously, that was a big bolt of lightning and I'm not sure why it hasn't made noise yet. There it is. That wasn't that big. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to just keep going with this. But anyway, so I'm able to tell people all this stuff that's wrong. And they just listen to me. Fascinated. Because I'm giving them some kind of information they ever heard. Or I'll walk up and just start talking. And everybody's listening to me. I have this charismatic nature that's from my personality. And I did not know I had any of this. And now that I do, it's like, I can use this to my benefit. And the benefit that I use it for is making life easier for people around me and myself. At work, I get people organized and I make them understand what's important and what's not, and then we move on. And over time, my stuff has gotten in order. And I have less and less and less hassle to work with. And the few things that hassle me right now are just stupid and I can shrug them off because they're not that big. It's not like when things were like when I first started and it was like everything was a nightmare. Now it's good. And that's all I got to do. I just have to plug away. I just sit there, come up with action plans, because that's who I am. And then get things done, done. Okay, now what's next? And in doing so, I've made my life really calm, which is exactly where I need it to be. It makes sense. It works. I think I'm going to end it here in a second. I do want to say one thing. I had somebody tell me I looked fat. This is muscle. See? Muscle. If you think I look fat, don't talk to me. I got a little bit. I have this little bit right here. I'm comfortable with my body. That's why I'm standing here in my underwear. My underwear. See? Underbound socks. But underwear. I'm comfortable with me. I don't appreciate being called out and told I look fat. Just saying. I'm surprised nobody's told me the bags under my eyes are awful. But, you guys are kind and loving people. So thank you. When I go to the bar, people aren't quite so kind and loving. And welcome. I don't need them. Somewhere out there in the world is the right person for me, who's going to look at me and say, you're a scary mess, but you're my scary mess. I love you guys. I love you, dude. Have a good night.